Good evening. How are you guys? I'm excited to be here always, and I've been doing a lot of research and reading lately, which is nothing out of the ordinary, but I was reminded of something the other day that I thought was worthwhile to share with you, possibly give you a little bit more insight on helping yourself to heal. And this would be the studies that Dr. Emoto did with water. I don't know if any of you have seen any of this, but I did print off some pictures. And to give you a little background, what this guy does is he looks at different types of water and different situations that water is exposed to see how it reacts. So one experiment he did was with rice. He made 3 different things of rice with water. And the first one he talked to and he said nice things to it, like, I love you, you're so beautiful, thank you. And a month later, that rice had started to ferment, which was what it should do. And it was very pleasant, had a nice aroma to it. The second one he talked to and he said, you're an idiot, you're stupid, you're dumb. And that water actually turned, and rice turned black. And then the last one he completely ignored. He just did nothing to it. He didn't say anything to it. He didn't acknowledge it. He was just completely indifferent to it. And that rice and water actually started to rot. So then he also did another study with Tokyo tap water. And it was having, I guess it was so polluted that it wouldn't make crystals when it was frozen. And so they did a bunch of different experiments in blessing this water. And once it was blessed, then it had the ability to form these crystals when it was frozen. And they did a similar experiment with what he did with water and rice in talking to different water groupings or glasses of water, I guess, and would say different things like, I love you, I hate you, and then see how it would freeze and measure these different crystals. And so I, again, have some pictures here, which I thought are pretty interesting. The first one is talking to it with love and gratitude. This one is with disgust. And so you can see there's really no pattern whatsoever. It's just sort of like a very sick looking blob. This one is with, I can't see, eternal, just, holding it in a special eternal space. Peace is this one here, thank you, and then evil. And so again, you can see the different formations that are happening. And if we know about living organisms, I think it said something like 80% of all living organisms are made of water. And so we all have these molecules in us. So I think that's really important to remember with my topic here. But then also something else I've come across lately is these Chladni plates. And this is with sound vibrations and different patterns that we can make with different sound vibrations coming through us. So there are different frequencies that we can put on that will emit, again, different sounds that will cause these different patterns to be created. It's very beautiful. And nice, beautiful sounds make these beautiful patterns. Harsh, non-acoustically pleasing sounds make these crazy, ugly patterns. But again, it's very similar to what Emoto was doing with the water. But it really got me to thinking about things with illnesses and being sick, because I know I spent enough time there that I definitely got a pretty good appreciation of what goes on in that space. And I remember reading at one point, and I've Googled it, I've not seen really much about it since, in that you can actually talk to your illness and help get it out of you. And so something that I would practice a lot was talking to my Lyme. And I would say, yoo-hoo, I see you, I love you. I know that you're secretly stuck here inside me, and you're not happy about being inside of me either, because ideally you don't want to be in a person. Being stuck here ends your life cycle. If it's in a mouse or if it's out in nature, it still has a chance of spreading and furthering its existence, which is really what it wants to do. And I know that's a little bit warped, but to think about it, it's a living organism. It's been made to do something. And by being in my body, it was doing what it was supposed to. It just happened to get the wrong target. It's not wanting to be in people. It doesn't really want to, again, be inside of a human, because it really ends its ability to reproduce and continue on in its life cycle. It wants to be out in the wildlife. And so I would talk to it. And again, just tell it, like, I understand that you're afraid or you're scared because you're stuck here and you can't get out. And I would picture it being more like frenzied inside my body, because it just like couldn't get out. And so by coaxing it nicely and getting it into a better state of mind, if you will, I think it allowed it to feel safe enough to come out, versus yelling at it all the time, telling it how much I hate it, even though I did despise it. And there was many of those conversations that I had with it. But I also realized that in having more of a pleasant conversation with it, that gives my own body more positive energy going through it, instead of me sitting there fighting with it, complaining with it, yelling at it all the time, which just creates more harshness and negativeness in my body, just allows it to thrive even more and to cause even more damage. And so again, I know maybe a little bit of a shift in your mind in saying like, dude, how am I actually going to talk nicely to this thing that's causing me to feel like such crap? But try it, see what happens. I've been working with a few different individuals that are struggling to get better right now from Lyme, and this was one thing that popped into my head. And I know, again, I feel a little bit crazy saying to people like, just talk to it nicely. It's just this little disease, you know, it's no big deal. Tell it what you think, that you love it, and it's safe to come out. But really, genuinely, I think it does make a difference. And so I would challenge you to try it. I've looked again on the internet to see if there's a lot of research done on this or any kind of experiments. And the only person that I have to account for this is myself and my own experience. But I did feel that that helped me. And if it just even made peace with it, which again allowed me to release it even further, to further my own ability to heal, then it's well worth it. And it might seem a little bit kooky, but sometimes the craziest things are the best things that we can do, because they shake up the norm and they get our body out of the normal routines and the normal talking to ourselves that we're accustomed to. And that's part of it, is just breaking the pattern of saying, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick. No, you say, I'm healing. I see you, illness. I know you're in there. I'm gonna get you out of me. Hold on. It's gonna be a little bit bumpy. We might fight a little bit, but ultimately this is for the greater good of all. Take care.